So a couple of days ago, I received the RetroFighters BattlerGC Controller from the RetroFighters website. There's some great things going on here, but a couple of things that feel off. So here it is, finally. After about a year of it being announced, I have in my hands the new Gamecube controller from RetroFighters. Well, we will shortly as it's still in the box, but we're going to open this right here together. Now, I ordered this on January 18th when the product went live on their site. It took about 5 days to arrive, which is not bad for something that was just released. And with my trusty Batman box cutter, used for all things as long as they involve opening a box. I do have to say I was excited when RetroFighters announced the controller. As someone that has recently hooked up their Wii and been playing GameCube games, this seemed like the perfect timing. I've used a standard GameCube controller up to this point, which is not terrible by any means of the word, but I was looking for another option that was wireless and a little bit more modern. Enter the BattlerGC Controller from RetroFighters, here in all its orange glory. Now, RetroFighters does offer the controller in black, orange, and purple, or for all you GameCube enthusiasts, black, spice orange, and indigo. The controller currently retails on their site for $44.99 USD in the States, and about $9 to $10 shipping. As mentioned, it took about 5 days to arrive in California, but your mileage may vary, of course. The only other controller I've purchased from them is the Brawler 64 wired N64 controller, which also had some big positives, but some flaws in the design too. Taking a look at the box, which looks great by the way, and it has all its features laid out in the back, including options which I was extremely happy about. And those are the option to use it on a Wii U, PC, Switch, and of course a GameCube and a Wii using the provided GameCube dongle. On PC, it connects with the provided USB dongle and was immediately recognized by my computer. And yes, it works in the Dolphin emulator with no issues for those gamers that prefer to play on PC. Yes, I am one of them as well. Pulling the box out, I am greeted with some great packing, and the first thing that was available was the controller itself. Now, there was no big foam packing on it, but that's okay as the box was small enough to fit the controller snug in there. And here it is, the very lovely orange BattlerGC controller in all its glory. Now, from first touch, the controller doesn't feel too heavy, and for the most part, the buttons and joysticks feel very similar to the Switch Pro controller. Also included in the box is a USB-C cable, which I'm starting to realize I have way too many of those. In a smaller box, you'll find the mentioned GameCube adapter and the USB adapter for playing it on PC. It does sync wirelessly to the Switch and Wii U with no adapter, and from my testing on it, there was no issues from the times I used it. I would really love for RetroFighters to start releasing some kind of small carrying case, as with my luck, I'll misplace one of these adapters. It would be great to have some kind of small carrying case for the controller to keep the adapters in, but I know that's asking too much as they have so many different controllers that would be hard to keep up with. Now, one little cool thing I noticed on the USB-C cable is that it says RetroFighters imprinted on the cable itself, which that's pretty neat. Now, you've heard me call this the BattlerGC controller a few times, I'm sure. Actually, let me check my notes to make sure here. BattlerGC. Yep. Okay, so the reason for that is that RetroFighters released 2 different versions of the controller. As you can see in this wonderful picture they have on their site, the other version is called their BladeGC controller. So you may be asking, Rudy, what's the difference? Well, I'm glad you asked, friend. The only difference is the placement of the left joystick on the BladeGC. The joysticks are laid out in the same format as a PlayStation controller. From what I've also seen, the D-pad is slightly larger on the BladeGC, so if you're looking for a classic layout, I'd go with the BattlerGC controller, but if you prefer the PlayStation feel of the controllers, go with the BladeGC. It really is up to you as the cost and color options are the same for both. The last thing in the box is the handy little instruction manual, which gives you some instruction on how to pair the controller to each system. It's pretty bare bones, but I mean, who reads instructions anymore, honestly? Taking a look at the controller, it does have a very similar feel to the Switch Pro controller. The face buttons are just a little clickier, and the joysticks, I'd say, are just about the same to the Pro controller. On the bottom, you have LEDs that let you know which player you are on the Switch. And then on the top, you have the sync button and the USB-C charging port. There's not too much on the back as the battery is rechargeable, so no need to be replacing the batteries. You also have all your menu options for the different systems on the front. One thing I did notice right away was the difference in the feel to the face buttons on the GameCube and the BattlerGC. The GameCube controller face buttons are clickier and feel like they would provide more response, as the BattlerGC ones feel a little squishier, but still not as soft as the Switch Pro controller ones. It's a mix of GameCube and Pro controller as to how the face buttons feel. I did also notice the difference in the feeling of the joysticks compared to the ones on the original controller, to where those felt much snappier than on the BattlerGC. One big thing that I did notice immediately was the nice clicking sound you would get on the original GameCube controller when you would press down on the L and R triggers. On the BattlerGC, the triggers have been replaced with pressure-sensitive, soft triggers. So that was something that I would have preferred to have, as there was something very ergonomic and comfortable about those triggers. I've only had the BattlerGC for a couple of days, but so far I'm really enjoying it, and I do love the options to be able to play on a few different systems without any issues. I recently hooked it up to my Wii and tested out some GameCube games, and it definitely works great on there as well. If you're looking for a new option on how to play GameCube games and want something wireless, I highly recommend the BattlerGC or BladeGC controllers from RetroFighters. It's a great controller that will breathe new life into how you play GameCube games. If you plan on picking one up, let me know down below. What color are you going to get? Or if you already have one, how are you enjoying it? Anyways, as always guys, thank you for the comments and thank you for watching my videos. I'm Rudy with the Retro Universe, and I am out.